Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about gesture controls, which are essentially shortcuts inside Procreate to help make your workflow so much smoother. So let's start off by making a big squiggle on the canvas. This is not what we wanted to do, so we're going to need to erase it. Now, instead of coming to our eraser and possibly erasing other things that, we didn't mean to, what we can do is use two fingers, tap on the screen, and that will undo our last brush stroke. Now, if we make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tons of brush strokes, we can tap it and keep going to keep pressing undo. It remembers every single stroke that you've made since you've opened up the canvas. So if I go ahead and make a squiggle, I close out the project and I reopen it, I can't press undo anymore. This is how gestures work. It's only going to remember the current session of the project that you're in. So keep that in mind. Luckily, I created this on a separate layer, so I can use 3 fingers to erase the whole layer. So that's going to be 2 fingers to undo, 3 fingers to redo. The same thing works in reverse. So if I add a bunch of strokes and I press with 2 fingers a bunch of times, and I realize, hey, I want to redo all of that erasing and brush marks. You can tap 3 fingers to do that. Now, if I change my mind, I can tap and hold 2 fingers to undo everything. This will take me back to how the project was when I first opened it up. So again, I can use 3 fingers swiping to erase or scrub the screen. This is nice because no matter what's on the layer, if there's tons of things and it's completely out of control and you don't want to, sit there and erase it all, 3 fingers will just get rid of everything on the whole layer. You can see here that now my top layer is completely empty. The next thing that's going to be important is copy and paste. Now, if you wanted to, you could make a mark and then use your selection tool, select that, and then come over here to the wrench and then choose copy. But that is a lot of work, and gesture controls save us a ton of time. So if you use 3 fingers and swipe straight down, it'll open up your copy and paste menu. You can move this around to wherever you like it most. And from here, you can choose copy, which will copy only the contents of the layer, copy all, which will take a copy of everything that you can currently see on the screen, even if it's not on the layer, duplicate, which will duplicate everything that's on the current layer, cut and paste, which will cut whatever you have selected off of that layer and paste it onto a new layer. And then paste. If you already have something selected, then it will paste it on a new layer. So from here, we can do 3 fingers down, choose duplicate, and now we have 2 layers with the same content on it. If you didn't want that, you can use your 3 finger scrub and erase that layer completely. Here, you'll see that the layer is now empty, and you can delete it and go back to your original layer. Let's say that we select only a small portion of that layer, and we use 3 fingers down and press duplicate. You can see that we only duplicated that small section that we had selected. So remember, 3 fingers down is going to open up your copy and paste menu. The next gesture control is going to be full screen. With 4 fingers, tap down, and it'll get rid of all of your menus, brush sizes, and the like. So this is a full screen mode, and you'll see a little icon up here that indicates you're in full screen. You can press that to get rid of full screen, or you can just tap with 4 fingers again, and it'll bring your menus back up. The next setting that you'll see people using a lot is fit canvas to screen. And this is by, no matter how small your canvas is, pinching it quickly and releasing, like this motion. That will automatically set your canvas to fill the entire length of the screen. If your canvas is really wide and skinny, it'll fill the edges. If it's taller, it'll fill the top and bottom. So if you're working on your canvas and you're painting things and you want to see how it looks, just go ahead and pinch it and it'll choose whichever orientation is closer. So if you're closer to horizontal and you pinch it, it'll fill in horizontally. If you're closer to vertical when you pinch it, it'll fill in vertically. As you know, probably from using mobile phones, you have your typical zoom out by pinching in and zoom in by pinching out. So it's a pretty standard way of maneuvering. You can rotate your canvas fully upside down and work that way. When you export it, it's going to show that your canvas is in fact upside down. Procreate remembers these things. So you can flip it back around, pinch it, and now it's full screen in the proper orientation. As I've talked about in the previous lesson about colors, you can tap with one finger and hold, and that opens up your color picker. This is also an important one because it allows you to quickly choose colors and iterate without having to go back to your color menu each time. The next shortcut is going to be the color dropper. So you can grab your color dropper, drag it over, and let go. And that's going to fill all the available space within that shape. So if you were to make a circle here, choose this green color and drag it in, it's only going to fill in the available space without going outside of that shape. So drag and drop is another quick Procreate shortcut that you don't want to miss. And last but not least, the last gesture control is going to be creating quick shapes. By drawing a triangle and holding it, you now have Procreate making you a quick shape. You can tap with one finger to help Procreate lock in that shape, or you can let go, choose Edit Shape, and create a polyline. From here, you can adjust all of your lines and create whatever shape that you want. This also works for circles. By not letting go of your pen, you've now created a quick shape. By tapping on the screen, Procreate will force that shape into a perfect circle. Now you can see this doesn't look like a perfect circle, but that's because of the brush I'm using. If I were to come over and get a perfectly round brush, now that we've got a perfectly round brush selected, I can create a circle, and Procreate will now lock that circle in. If I let go of my finger, it's going to go back to an oval. If I hold my finger down, it's going to go to a perfect circle. Now, if we're doing something like a square, and we tap on it, now it's going to let us turn it in increments of, I think, 10%. Maybe it's 15. But if I let go, then it'll let me rotate in any smooth increment. But with the finger down, it's going to lock it in. Same thing for straight lines. By holding it, it's going to create a perfectly straight line. And tapping your finger down will help you to lock in a specific angle using Quick Shape. You can, of course, customize all of these quick shape settings, the delay with how long it takes to drop a color, and much more. All you have to do is come up to your wrench, come over to Preferences, and come down here to Gesture Controls. Here it's going to open up a settings panel where you can experiment with different types of gesture controls. Here with the eyedropper, you can change what happens when you press on this little square that's over here in the corner. You can adjust your quick shape settings here and adjust the delay for how long it's going to recognize quick shape. If this delay is turned up, you'll have to hold that line for much longer before it finally snaps into a quick shape. You can adjust this to whatever works best for you. The rest of these settings we can dive into a little bit later when we get to the special settings and hidden settings features, and a lot of these you won't need to experiment with, but of course, if you're trying to improve your workflow and fine-tune the app to work best for you, you're going to want to dive in and take a look at these. So that's pretty much all you need to know in this lesson about gesture controls. In the next section, we're going to get into some more advanced features like layering, masks, guides, and blending modes. So I hope to see you in the next one.